All right, welcome back. So speaking of Ndume, this is actually the first time I will see this character. So the chief is going to teach me a lot about this story today. I know you were touching on it. I'm like, wait, I heard something, but I want to read this headline first of all, and then you tell us a little bit about what this headline is up to. I'm not sure what they're up to, but I see a headline on the cable.ng that says Ndume to Tinubu relocation of CBN fan offices to Lagos will have political consequences. And then this report says Ali Ndume, chief whip of the Senate, says, what do they mean by that? Chief whip of the Senate says the relocation of some offices of the Central Bank of Nigeria and headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria Faan to Lagos will have political consequences. Speaking during an interview with Channels TV on Tuesday, Ndume said political cartels are misguiding Tinubu to take the wrong decisions. What is this man? Who is this man and what is he talking about? Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, Ali Ndume is a senator from Borno State, and he is currently in the Senate. He is the chairman of the Senate Committee on the on Armed Forces, a very sensitive portfolio for a distinguished senator like him, or an otherwise distinguished senator, or senator with an otherwise distinguished career like him. But he has a notoriety. When Boko Haram first started, I remember that he had an encounter that was almost a crossfire with the then presidential spokesman, Dr. Reuben Abati. This man is always raising hell where none exists. As that government of the day was trying to contain the Boko Haram fiasco in Nigeria, Ali Ndume was one of the people who used it to blackmail the government of the day. He used it to blackmail the government of Goodluck Jonathan. And look at what that thing has festered into today. It's become a crisis of international and unmanageable proportions. That is Ali Ndume for you. In this new thing, he has characterized or mischaracterized some presidential advisors, some elements within the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government as Lagos boys, his words. He has forgotten that whatever President Bola Tinubu was doing in relocating the operations of Faan, the Nigerian Aviation Authority, to Lagos, and the operations of certain offices of Central Bank of Nigeria, whose office at Area 11 and the Central Business Area in Abuja is congested beyond ordinary, to relocate them to Lagos, where they would have direct oversight over Lagos is for God's sake, everybody knows that Lagos is the business capital of Nigeria, just like New York is the business capital of America. But in a Ndume's misguided reasoning, he looks at it as he has extrapolated that the movement of these agencies back to Lagos would mean an attack on the north. So it's not, how can Nigeria be fighting itself? To me, that logic in itself is against all human reasonability. Because are you saying the north is not part of Nigeria? Whatever is done in the interest of any of us, the generality of us, is it not going to benefit the north the more? And Ndume is not even looking at the arguments of people like the former emir of Kano, that is Sanusi. He's not looking at the argument that this is something that had been in the works for a long time. Sanusi, as the former CBN governor, said he contemplated doing the same thing to make sure that this the CBN has seamless supervisory roles, and the CBN is supposed to be autonomous. I do not get Ali Ndume's argument in saying that Bola Tinubu's decision to move FAN's operation and that of CBN to Lagos will have political consequence. You see the way people like Ali Ndume, how they reason. If elections were free and fair in Nigeria, tell me, do you think Ali Ndume would be in the Senate today? He would not, probably. But because they know the way they pad their things. And this Ali Ndume, I'm sure, may not have even been to his own senatorial district to gauge the opinion and what is those who elected him, what they really would want to happen in this situation. He's not able to go there because the entire place is Boko Haram country. Is in Abuja, and then is contriving and spewing out all kinds of conspiratorial theories.
Yeah.
You said?
I said hate.
He's in Abuja. He's talking. He's spewing out all kinds of. And these are people who craft laws on hate speech. What Ali Ndume has done in trying to drive the wedge between Nigerians and the different geopolitical zones constituting Nigeria almost qualifies as something for which it should be tried for hate speech. But this is Nigeria. We're talking about Nigeria. He is a big man. And for him, he has said this now. I have no idea somebody like Ali Ndume to have tried this with somebody like Obasanjo. Remember Mohammed Kontagora, the famous hotline publisher from Kaduna, when he used to blackmail Obasanjo, they now brought out things to show that this one was not really speaking for the entire North, was just speaking for himself. The same thing, if you dig up stuff about Ali Ndume, you will find out that it's just self-serving. It's one of those tricks we know. Nobody can continue to play this kind of divisive politics amongst us Nigerians. We love each other. I have friends in the North. I have everywhere. And I love my friends. I know my friends probably love me too. So for Ali Ndume to be playing up a one-up trick, to think that people like him can set Nigeria on fire, I think is misguided and very, very unbecoming of a senator like him. To say the least, I would say I find it utterly irresponsible of a statesman like him to have uttered such words.
No.
After all, Mr. President should be allowed to exercise his prerogative as the one in charge. But if he goes that line too, we will call him. But Ndume, as the chief whip of the Nigerian Senate, should be warped back to line. He needs to imbibe certain ethics and ethos, certain character about party discipline. When as a party bigwig like that, the party in government has taken a decision that would, in the overall interest, benefit the country. One qualifies that Tinubu may have done so many things wrong. We do not excuse any of those things. But in this case, this looks like a decision that could benefit the entire Nigerian nation. Ali Ndume should have been more. It should have been more reasonable in.
Now, speaking of
appreciation of what to build Nigeria up.
Right. Now, speaking of this particular relocation, right? I want to know your opinion about everything else. Okay. Anytime they say something is going to have political consequences, I know there's at least a 75% chance that this is another manipulative tactic, like you said,
it is,
to just rile up people for no reason. But now let's talk about everything else. Is there any, and I'm going to play a video before you answer, is there any other type of consequences? Is this even a real thing in the first place, that CBN or FAAN could be moved to Lagos State? I'm going to play a short video from Adiola Fayeon, and then we'll take it from there, okay? Hold on one second. All right, let's see what she has to say. Shout out to Adiola Fayeon.
Why am I even bothering myself? Let's talk about a more pressing matter. Move closer, my people. So the presidency wants to relocate some departments of the central bank from Abuja to Lagos State, as well as the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos State. Now, this has generated a mixed reaction, especially the CBN one. As in, hey, you have people who are excited, and then you have people who are upset. As in, the Arewa Consultative Forum, that's a social-political group in northern Nigeria, for example, kicked against it. They've been releasing statements left and right. Several senators from the northern part of the country, the Northern Senators Forum, they kicked against it. They are not moving all of CBN, by the way. They are moving some departments of CBN where the staff are already having to travel back and forth to Lagos to work. The Banking Supervision Department, the Consumer Protection Department, the Payment System Management Department, other financial institutions supervision to stay there sometimes for months before coming back to the headquarters office in Abuja. So they're spending money to send them back and forth, and when traveling by road, there's 1,533 more people in that building than they should have. That is not correct. That is dangerous. In America here, that is a crime. Over of parking space included.
All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. So it sounds like it's a matter of resources and resource allocation and optimizing processes. That's what it sounds like to me already. So is this a real thing that's actually happening? And is there any other consequences, positive or negative, that you can speak to outside of Ndume'S, riling up everybody for no reason?
Well, you may not say that he's riling everybody up for no reason. Okay. His reason is to not just to eat up the polity, but to make him is not an acolyte, to feel like he is doing something. Why not really doing
nice one. So there's a reason.
That is a major reason.
Right.
And this is a real thing. It's going to happen in real time. And even as you and I are talking, from our checks, all the memos backing this up, and all the details have been the T's on them have been crossed, and the I's have been dotted. So it's going to happen. But you're saying, would there be any consequence other than what would happen with the vote?
Yes.
No other thing. For me, it may qualify as a dog whistle. It may also qualify as a dog whistle for some hot-headed idiot who want to get excited about trying to make the space uncomfortable for the government of the day. Because all these guys, they have tried it in the past, and we know the name of the game. It is a fifth columnist effort to make sure that the government of the day may become unpopular, not for doing something, not for not doing anything, but for doing something that could end up benefiting the generality of our people. In this case, I hope, because I've always held the Department of State or the State Security Service, SSS, responsible, and the police. They must be on guard. If anybody is going to toy with this democracy, then such elements should be dealt with appropriately.
Okay. Now, what are the exact upsides?
The Senate also must be up and doing. I think by now, Ndume should be removed from the chairmanship of a committee that is so sensitive and strategic like that of armed forces. This guy cannot be serving national interest. And if somebody is playing a sectional card and you want to entrust the security of an entire nation to his care, God help all of us. That is the way I feel.
Okay.
You were going to ask a question.
Yeah, so I wanted to know if you could highlight in one or two sentences the actual upsides of moving CBN or some parts of it.
I don't see any upsides. Yeah, the best that can come out of this is to make sure that CBN continues, spikes up its ability to give Nigerians robust services and operations. And in the case of FAN, can you imagine that almost 4 out of every 5 flights going to Nigeria and coming out of Nigeria come through Lagos. All those things happen in Lagos. Lagos is the hub of Nigeria aviation industry and activities. So, what could come out of this other than something positive? So that is what I expect will happen. So it's almost like when the headquarters of the Inland Waterways was moved to Lokoja because of the confluence of rivers Benue and Niger there, or the NDDC thing in the South area. Nigerians must learn to have specific headquarters and offices for its principal, what's it called, sub-economic operations. That is the only way to begin to embrace true federalism. It is what everybody, the restructuring people were clamoring for. Were they thinking it's something that will come out of planet Mars? These are the stages of such kind of restructuring that will reflect Nigeria's true potentials and federalism.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to some other stories today. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this whole saga and every attempt, like you said, to rile up the polity or, their own personal agendas and also the agendas at their party levels. Let me ask this question quickly before I move on. Ndume is in what party exactly?
APC is in he's in the government party. That's why I'm accusing him of being so indisciplined and
What about originally?
Yeah, most Nigerian politicians have been everywhere. All
right.
Yeah, they shop for opportunities. And in the case of Hope Uzodinma, that is using this as an excuse to, he says the what's it called? The movement he represents within Nigerian politics. That is the Forum of Southeastern Governors, all 5 of them. He is the chairman. He also is the chairman of the so-called Progressive Governors Forum, because I don't even really see what is outrightly progressive about the APC. I do not see any ideological difference between between APC PDP.
As Nigerians, sometimes we just
these are just political special vehicles for all of them. You want to grab power through PDP, it does not happen. The next thing you pack your friends and
it's necessary, sometimes as Nigerians, I say as Nigerians, sometimes you have to create what do they call it? You have to create committee that will create the committee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we are
you have to create the committee that will create the committee, and then another committee that will monitor the committee. You get it?
Yeah, we have seen committees. And committees in Nigeria. For example, the Committee of Friends that metamorphosed into the Unity Party of Nigeria 78-79. That was a good one. But this kind of committee, these ones do, is nothing other than to bamboozle, to grab power, and then make it look as if the political space is for them and their courts alone. So, with due apologies to serious-minded political junkies around in and outside Nigeria, elements like Hope Uzodinma should get serious at times. Yes, those organizations he leads, they are saying they are supporting the decision of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to move the operational offices and men and women of Faan and CBN to Lagos. Good. But how about this one that is now beginning to point fingers at you and I, whoever is out there, has been paid by Shell, Chevron, Mobil, Total? What arrant nonsense. It's our country, and we must maintain opinion, reasonable opinion about how we want to be governed. You cannot tell me that the way Nigeria is unraveling, especially with the way President Bola Tinubu pushed the equivalent of the nuclear button at his swearing in, when he said subsidy is gone, and then the economy unraveled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Something that should have, something that should have been better managed. It must have, it should have been a process, but he learned the hard way how leadership is supposed to be managed, to be handled.
You have to manage all of that. The unseen, the scene.
He played to the gallery and look at the consequence. The unintended consequences for us as the people and the nation today.
Yeah, so and coming back from that is tough.
It's tough. And look at all the options they are trying. Instead of pushing for stimulus, they give palliatives. Nonsense. I do not understand the kind of people we are, honestly. But I think it may not be in our DNA.
Awesome. Do me a favor, everybody. Please hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. We got some more story to cover on here. We'll be back in about 20 seconds.